Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Every coach that we run into is all for the safety aspect of it and wants to make sure that kids have a great experience, on and off the field.
The new school year means the start of a new high school football season, and this year there are more than just new players on the field.
There are also new rules in North Dakota aimed at keeping players safe. Valley News Team's Veronica Marshall talks with experts about the changes you can expect to see on the field.
There'll be freshmen, sophomores on the field for probably their first snap of varsity football, so how they react to that will be a key for us tonight.
Football is all about learning from the past and embracing the new.
It's a good early season game that gives our kids a chance to go out and, 2 weeks of practice that they've had now, go out and kind of play somebody new.
And this year, high school football teams will embrace new rules.
One of the rules that they brought up this year is, deals with equipment and having kids sit out of a play if they don't have the proper equipment.
The National Federation of State High School Associations has actually lowered the penalty for equipment violations, hoping it will encourage more referees to call them out.
I think it's a good thing anytime they make a rule change there that will give kids that ability to be safe on the field.
Officials were a little leery at calling some of those penalties because they didn't want to put teams in a difficult spot. And when they lessen the load a little bit on that penalty, I think you'll see a few more of those penalties.
So that new players can have a chance at becoming old hands.
We'll be a little apprehensive right away just because there's something new and change is difficult for some of us and those types of things. But once we get into it and we teach it and explain to kids and players that it makes you safe, I think that makes it a little bit easier.
In Thompson, Veronica Marshall, Valley News Live.
Equipment violations include unsnapped chin straps, tooth and mouth protectors that are dangling, or jerseys that do not fully cover the shoulder pads or back pads. Referees are now expected to call a timeout so the issue can be addressed.
Law enforcement in North Dakota want voters to know they aren't in favor of recreational marijuana. The state's Peace Officers Association passed a resolution against Initiated Measure 3, which would legalize recreational marijuana in the state. The organization says members have taken an oath to enforce laws to keep our communities safe and secure, and members cannot support the blatant contradictions the measure presents. They encourage voters to research Measure 3 and vote no in November.
That smoky sky today kept temperatures cooler around the valley. It is expected to move out. Let's check with Hutch to find out how soon and what the weather will be like tonight. Hutch?
Yeah, that smoke is going to take its sweet time getting out of here. A look at our sky cam showing the hazy conditions. A look in at the runway in Hector International. Here is a look at what we have going on region-wide. That smoke has really infiltrated most of North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota, reducing air quality. Temperatures in the 60s. Some areas reporting some fog along with the smoke and haze out there. So reduced visibility with a chance of a sprinkle along the international border. Your hour-by-hour forecast shows we'll slip into the 60s, patchy areas of fog, and of course, that hazy smoke will be in the air. South winds will begin to try to scrub out that smoke. I'll have details on that and a chance of rain for a weekend ahead here in a few minutes.
Okay, thanks, Hutch.
We are approaching the one-year anniversary of the gruesome murder of 22-year-old Savannah LaFontaine Greywind. People will commemorate her memory this Sunday by wearing red. The public is also encouraged to use red bulbs in porch lights. Greywind was 8 months pregnant with her first child when she was murdered for her baby. Authorities say they found her body by kayakers in the Red River north of Fargo. It was heavily wrapped in plastic, duct tape, and stuck on a tree in the water. The gruesome discovery came days after authorities found a newborn they say was Greywind's in the apartment of her neighbors, 32-year-old William Henry Hain and 38-year-old Brooklyn Lynn Cruz. Hain's trial starts September 18th. Earlier, Cruz was sentenced to life in prison.
It's Friday, and that means it's time to take a look at this week's Valley's Most Wanted. Police say 19-year-old Marcus Sua is wanted in 4 local jurisdictions for conspiracy to commit burglary, probation violation on an aggravated assault charge, being a minor in possession, and failing to comply with a court order. His picture is right there on your screen. You can call your local law enforcement if you have any information on him.
A new racetrack in the Valley is creating a lot of buzz and excitement.
Valley News Team's Joseph Ocho went to Glendon, Minnesota to get a look at the new track and shows how far people are willing to travel to avoid drifting on local streets.
Back in 2015, we held we held an event at the West Fargo Fairgrounds.
That two-day event drew a large crowd and was the last time people experienced drifting of this caliber in our area. Aiming to give people entertainment again in the valley, manager Max Crocker and his team decided to develop a new drift course locally so that drifters can hit the track in their own backyard.
What is it, 7 miles from Fargo? I mean, it takes me 18 minutes to get home. And I've never had a track 18 minutes from my house.
Doors open Friday afternoon, and cars hit the track at 4 p.m. to be judged on their drifting skills. This is the first drift-specific track in Minnesota, bringing everyone from pro drivers to those who have never drifted before.
We had a guy from St. Louis and from Denver talking about coming.
The event also attracted in drifters and fans from miles away, since there aren't many drift events that happen too often.
Yeah, I love it. I grew up with cars and high horsepower engines, quarter-mile cars, pulling trucks and everything, so to take part in anything automotive related is great for us. And our business is actually really automotive orientated.
Many drifters even opting to bring trailers and tents, just so they wouldn't miss out on any of the action.
It's absolutely worth it. Haven't even got on the track yet, and it looks great. Me and my buddy, we loaded up at midnight last night and headed about 10 hours from western South Dakota, from the Spearfish area, and we're more than excited to be here.
Drifter Nate LeBrant appreciates the new track because having a designated area for drifters prevents reckless driving tickets.
I mean, you got to start somewhere, but it'll be nice having a track where everyone can come. Hopefully they can get some more events in next year. Should be fun.
When they got to drive 2.5 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours to get to a track, they're a lot more likely to just hop out on the street and slide a couple corners and hope they don't get caught.
In Glendon, Minnesota, Joseph Ojo, Valley News Live.
Crocker tells us moving forward, the goal is to bring more drivers from all around to help grow the drifting market. Drifting at the new track will take place throughout this weekend. For more information, head to our website, valleynewslive.com, and click on this story.
A video involving a 91-year-old grandfather from Kinter, North Dakota is going viral, and he says he was just simply doing his job. Born and raised in North Dakota, Tony Bernhardt continues to help out around at the farm. It's a family business carried on through generations. His 24-year-old grandson, Levi, says he always shoots Snapchats of his grandfather while he's helping on the farm. This week, he decided to shoot a longer video for keepsake. He never thought it would be viewed by millions across the country. Levi says he sent the video to his aunts and uncles, and they posted it on social media. The rest, as they say, is history.
And I pulled out my phone, and he just started walking, and I didn't even realize right away that song was on in the background. And all of a sudden, once I heard it, and he was stumbling there, my dad came out of the combine. I was like, this is kind of cool. So I just kept going throughout the whole song, and I was like, this is kind of a neat video.
He says his grandfather continues to do the best he can to help them out because to them, farming is a lifestyle.
Great stuff.
It is.
Getting a certain blood test in the first trimester could help women avoid a pregnancy-related condition that comes with serious health risks.
Plus, arming your children with the right nutrients to get them through their school day.